My friend, every time you hold money in your hands, you are not just touching paper or coins. You are touching energy. You are touching the physical proof of abundance, flow, and infinite supply. But here's the secret. The energy you send out while holding that money decides what happens next. So I want you to say this. Every time you touch money, you are connecting with a form of energy that responds to your thoughts, emotions, and words. Money is not just a physical object. It is a symbol of circulation, of value, and of the energetic relationship you hold with abundance. What you say when you hold or handle money matters. Your words are not just expressions, they are instructions. They are signals sent out into the universe, into your subconscious mind, and into the energy field that shapes your life experience. Most people handle money unconsciously. They may count their change, tap their cards, stuff bills in their wallet, or hand over cash without a second thought. But each one of those moments is an opportunity, a doorway to influence your financial reality. Imagine if every time you touched money, even just a coin, you spoke words of increase, gratitude, and faith. Instead of looking at money with fear, resentment, or a belief that it is scarce, you look at it as something sacred, something flowing, something abundant. You begin to treat it not with tension, but with respect. With that small change, everything begins to shift. Because what you speak consistently becomes what you experience. If you keep telling yourself money is hard to get, guess what? Your life will reflect that belief. If you constantly say you never have enough, then lack becomes your reality. But the opposite is also true. When you say, money flows to me easily and frequently, or I bless this money and know it returns to me multiplied, your subconscious accepts this as a new instruction, and your outer world begins to mirror your inner programming. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's spiritual law. The Bible, ancient texts, and even quantum theory all point to one truth: your words have power. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spoken word is your wand. It's how you command spiritual law to operate in your favor. She believed that when you speak something with faith and feeling, you set it into motion. So, when you touch money and say something positive, even if your current circumstances look difficult, you are planting seeds of change. You are speaking a new pattern into existence. You are aligning with the frequency of wealth instead of the frequency of worry. There is something powerful about using money, handling moments as affirmational triggers. It makes the practice automatic and consistent. If you keep repeating affirmations only during your morning routine, they may feel separate from real life. But when you start affirming during action, when money is literally in your hands, that's when your beliefs begin to truly shift. Every transaction becomes a training session for abundance. You tip the barista and say silently, I am grateful to give, and money flows back to me multiplied. You receive change at the store and whisper, thank you, universe, for this wealth in my hands. You pay a bill and instead of cringing, you smile and say, I'm thankful I had the money for this, and even more is coming. These are not just words, they are recalibrations. Each one gently replaces an old story of struggle with a new story of prosperity. Over time, these words begin to take root. Your relationship with money shifts from fear to faith. You no longer see money as something fleeting, but something faithful. Something that comes, goes, and returns in divine cycles. You begin to expect it. You stop begging the universe for help and start partnering with it confidently. You trust that your words are activating invisible forces in your favor. You walk with a quiet confidence that your needs will be met and exceeded. And it all begins with what you say the moment you touch money. Many people unknowingly speak poverty into their lives. They touch money and say, this won't last long, or it's already gone, or there's never enough. And the universe responds, not because it is cruel, but because it reflects what you believe. The spiritual laws at work in the universe are impersonal and precise. They are like mirrors. You say, "I'm always broke," and that is what reflects back. You say, "Money flows to me easily," and in time, that becomes your reality. So the next time you hold a coin, a bill, a check, a debit card, or even view your online bank account, say something that matches the reality you want to create. Words are seeds, and money is the soil. The more loving, abundant, and confident your words, the more fruitful your financial life becomes. You may not see results overnight, but like any seed, your affirmations need time to grow. Keep watering them. Keep believing, keep speaking, even when it feels awkward, even when your current situation seems contradictory. Especially then, because the moments when your reality looks bleak are the moments when your declarations carry the most power. They are acts of faith that invite a higher order into your life. Ultimately, you must understand this. You are not just a receiver of money, you are a co-creator of your financial flow. Your words are not powerless, they are tools. Use them wisely. Treat money handling as a sacred moment, a divine transaction where you imprint your energy and beliefs into something that touches almost every area of your life. The more you say empowering things when you touch money, the more empowered your relationship with money becomes. And over time, money begins to respond. It shows up when you need it. It arrives in unexpected ways. It flows in more than it flows out. And you realize it's not luck or coincidence. It's alignment. It's intention. It's the result of a new relationship you built, one affirmation at a time. So, say this every time you touch money. Money comes to me easily, frequently, and abundantly. I bless this money and send it out with love. It returns to me multiplied. Make this your financial ritual, and you will begin to witness the multiplication, not just of money, but of peace, confidence, and true prosperity. Blessing the money you have is one of the most overlooked yet powerful spiritual practices you can apply to your financial life. Most people treat money with fear, anxiety, or a sense of unworthiness. They see it as scarce, as something that slips through their fingers, and in doing so, they unknowingly push it away. But money, like all forms of energy, responds to intention. It responds to emotion. It responds to what you say about it and how you treat it. When you receive or spend money and bless it, genuinely, consciously, and consistently, you shift the vibration around it. You turn what could be an ordinary, fearful act into a sacred moment of trust and expansion. Instead of saying, "There goes all my money," when you pay for something, imagine saying, "I bless this money and know it returns to me multiplied." That one sentence, repeated with faith, can shift your entire financial life, because it does something critical. It breaks the cycle of fear and replaces it with faith. It stops the flow of doubt and begins the flow of trust. You're no longer panicking when you see a bill. You're acknowledging that every dollar you send out is on a mission to return with more. This is not just about positive thinking, it's about spiritual law. What you bless increases. What you curse diminishes. When you bless your money, you're declaring to the universe, "I am in harmony with abundance." And when you're in harmony with abundance, abundance seeks you out. Money, in truth, is neutral. It doesn't judge. It doesn't choose who to bless. It simply responds to the energy that surrounds it. When you speak words of love, gratitude, and expansion over money, you raise its frequency and your own. You align yourself with the law of increase. You become the fertile soil into which more wealth can be planted. That's why blessing your money isn't just a nice gesture, it's a spiritual investment. Every time you say, "I bless this money. I'm grateful for it. It will multiply and return to me," you are declaring your readiness to receive more. And that declaration sets into motion a series of unseen events that begin to create financial flow in your life. This process, however, must be consistent. It cannot be something you do once or twice and then give up on. It has to become your financial ritual. You do it when you receive your paycheck, when you give a tip, when you buy a gift, even when you donate. You do it not because you're trying to manipulate results, but because you're choosing to create a new relationship with money, one that is rooted in faith and not fear. And over time, you'll begin to see changes. Opportunities will appear. Unexpected income will show up. Discounts, promotions, gifts, all signs that your blessing is coming full circle. Your words shape your reality. And when those words are spoken over something as universal and influential as money, their effect multiplies. So, bless your money every time you touch it. Speak increase into it. Let it hear you say, "You are welcome here. I release you with love, and I know you will return to me multiplied in divine timing." Then let it go in peace, knowing you've planted the seed of your own prosperity. Now, affirming wealth and not lack is just as vital as blessing your money. Every day, people unknowingly program their minds to expect poverty. They say things like, "I'm broke. I can't afford that." Or, "Money doesn't grow on trees." These statements may feel like harmless expressions or jokes, but in reality, they are powerful affirmations of lack, struggle, and limitation. The mind is always listening, always learning, and always adapting to what you repeatedly tell it. So when you speak lack, you live lack. When you speak abundance, you live abundance. Words are the code language of your subconscious mind. They either reinforce your scarcity programming or rewire it for wealth. The key is to become intentional with what you affirm, especially when money is involved. If your instinct is to say, "I don't have enough," pause and flip it. Say, "There is always more than enough for me." If you find yourself worrying about how a bill will be paid, say, "I always have what I need." Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. These statements may not match your current reality, but they begin to shift your inner belief system. And once your belief system changes, your results follow. Think of your affirmations as spiritual commands. When spoken with emotion and repetition, they penetrate your subconscious mind and begin to rearrange the pattern of your thinking. That's why the practice must be daily, intentional, and filled with feeling. The more you affirm your wealth, the more natural it becomes. It begins to feel less like a hopeful wish and more like an unshakable truth. And when your mind starts to accept wealth as normal, it begins to make decisions, attract opportunities, and notice blessings that align with that belief. This is how you break out of generational poverty patterns. This is how you shift from surviving to thriving. You don't need to wait for your outer world to change before you affirm wealth. In fact, the change must begin on the inside. Affirm wealth when your bank account is low. Affirm it when you're paying off debts. Affirm it when you're building from scratch. Speak prosperity even if your eyes still see limitation, because those declarations are not about what is. They are about what is becoming. When you touch money, when you interact with it, whether physically or digitally, do so with awareness. Say something that affirms your faith in abundance. Say, "Money comes to me easily, frequently, and abundantly. I am always taken care of. I attract wealth in many forms." These simple words, repeated in moments of financial engagement, become spiritual bricks that build a new reality. Both blessing your money and affirming wealth over lack are essential practices for multiplying prosperity. They help you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. They transform everyday financial moments into powerful rituals of spiritual alignment. And most importantly, they teach your subconscious mind to expect good things, to welcome money, and to trust the divine flow of supply. With faith-filled words, spoken daily and intentionally, you don't chase wealth. It begins to chase you. Handling money is something we do almost every day, whether it's receiving it, spending it, transferring it, or simply thinking about it. Yet, most people overlook the energetic and spiritual impact of how they interact with money. One of the most powerful practices you can adopt is to speak positive, faith-filled words every single time you touch money. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about shifting your energy, reprogramming your beliefs, and aligning yourself with the flow of divine abundance. Every word you speak when money is in your hands is a declaration to the universe. If you declare lack, you continue to experience lack. If you declare wealth, increase, and gratitude, you invite more of it into your life. People often say, "I never have enough. Money is tight." Or, "It's gone already," when they handle money. What they don't realize is that these casual comments become repeated affirmations. And the subconscious mind accepts repeated affirmations as truth, regardless of whether the statement is positive or negative. The universe responds to your belief, not your current situation. So even if your bank balance is low, if you speak from a place of trust, saying, "I always have what I need, money flows to me freely," or, "I bless this money and it multiplies," you begin to shift the energetic frequency of your finances. You don't need to lie to yourself. You simply need to choose better words that align with the abundance you desire. When you repeat powerful money affirmations at the moment of contact, when you are physically touching money or engaging with it in any form, you amplify their power. The subconscious mind is more receptive when an emotion or physical connection is involved. Saying, "Money returns to me multiplied," while handing over cash has far more impact than just thinking it during a quiet meditation. When you blend spiritual principle with action, you create alignment. That alignment turns routine transactions into acts of prosperity. Each payment becomes an investment. Each receipt becomes a harvest. This is the shift that opens the doors to unlimited abundance. There's another vital truth: money is meant to circulate. It's not supposed to sit still. Fear tells us to hoard it, to grip it tightly, to avoid giving too much. But in truth, money, like all energy, thrives on movement. When you hoard it from fear, you choke its flow. When you circulate it with faith and joy, it comes back increased. When you tip someone generously, buy something joyfully, or donate with trust, you're participating in the spiritual law of circulation. You're saying to the universe, "There's more where that came from," and the universe responds in kind. It echoes what you believe. This is why so many spiritual teachers emphasize generosity, not out of obligation, but because giving with love sets the cycle in motion. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that you must act as if you already have the thing you desire. That means when you give from a mindset of, "I am always provided for," not, "I hope I have enough left." When you pay a bill, don't say, "There goes all my money." Say, "I'm grateful I had the money to pay this, and more is already on its way." Each of these declarations, when combined with the physical act of circulation, sends a strong signal to your subconscious that abundance is normal, that increase is expected, and that money is a servant, not a master. Your subconscious mind plays a massive role in your relationship with money. The problem is, it doesn't respond to logic, it responds to repetition and feeling. You may want to be wealthy, but if your subconscious is filled with scarcity patterns inherited from childhood or past experience, it will continue creating situations that reflect those beliefs. That's why affirming abundance, while touching money, is such a powerful tool. It begins to replace the old programming. Every time you say, "I bless this money, it returns to me multiplied," or "money flows to me constantly and effortlessly," you're writing a new script. Over time, these new affirmations will become default thoughts, and when they do, your results will begin to match your internal truth. This is not magic, and it's not superstition. It is the combination of spiritual law, psychology, and energy. What you consistently say, feel, and believe becomes what you live. If you speak struggle, you attract more struggle. If you speak overflow, you invite overflow. The repetition of high, Vibration affirmations, while handling money conditions your inner world to expect wealth instead of fearing lack. And that shift opens your eyes to opportunities, attracts the right people, and draws in money from sources you never even imagined. Many people wait until they have more to start feeling abundant. But the secret is to start now. Begin affirming prosperity when you touch even a single coin. Start blessing your finances even when your account is nearly empty. Speak from where you want to be, not from where you are. This is not denial, it is creative faith. It's about planting seeds in the soil of your subconscious mind, even when there's no sign of growth yet. Because like any seed, your words take time to bloom. But they will, if you keep nurturing them. There is immense power in speaking abundance into your life, especially at the moment you engage with money. Blessing your money with loving, faith-filled words raises your vibration and aligns you with divine supply. Circulating money with trust rather than fear activates the law of increase, and consistently affirming wealth over lack reprograms your subconscious mind to expect prosperity. When you blend these practices into your everyday life, turning transactions into rituals and affirmations into habits, you stop struggling and start aligning. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. And soon, you'll find that wealth is no longer something you're hoping for. It's something that naturally flows to and through you. Say the words, speak the blessing, trust the process, and watch your money multiply. Every time you interact with money, you're participating in a sacred transaction with energy. Money is not just paper, metal, or numbers on a screen. It is a symbol of energy flow, value exchange, and trust in circulation. When you touch money, you touch an extension of your beliefs, your habits, and your expectations. That's why what you say in those moments holds so much power. Most people move through these transactions unconsciously. They give, receive, spend, and worry about money without awareness. And their repeated inner dialogue becomes their financial reality. The words they whisper when no one's listening, the phrases they repeat to themselves, those are the seeds that grow into either lack or abundance. The shift begins with consciousness. Start noticing your language around money. The moment you catch yourself saying, "I'm broke," or "money disappears so fast," realize that you're reinforcing scarcity. You're not just speaking. It's almost as if you're placing an order with the universe. Your subconscious mind, which is always listening, begins to structure your beliefs, decisions, and behaviors based on those repeated commands. But when you change your words, you change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, you change your results. Try instead saying, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," or "Every rupee I touch is blessed and returns to me multiplied." These statements may feel unnatural at first, especially if your bank account tells a different story. But your current reality is only the result of past thoughts. If you want a new reality, you must start by speaking new thoughts now. The power of spoken affirmation is magnified when it's combined with physical action, like touching or handling money. When you physically touch money and speak a blessing or affirmation over it, you're creating a powerful energetic imprint. You're connecting belief with behavior. Every transaction becomes a ritual. Instead of just paying a bill, you're performing a moment of spiritual alignment. Instead of just receiving your salary, you're receiving divine supply with gratitude. This fusion of action and intention builds trust with the universe. It signals that you are a conscious creator of your financial life, not just a passive observer. When you say, "This money is blessed," or "More is always on the way," while touching it, you send out a ripple effect. You're planting new instructions into the field of energy that surrounds you, and you're doing it with precision and power. But for this practice to truly transform your life, it must be rooted in consistency. Repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. One affirmation said once won't overwrite years of scarcity programming. However, the same affirmation said daily, especially with feeling and intention, will. You must commit to it as a new way of being. Make it a habit to declare wealth and abundance, not just in meditation, but during ordinary moments. When you check your bank account, say, "Thank you for this money. More is always coming." When you find a coin, say, "I welcome all forms of prosperity." When you give money to someone, say, "As I give, I receive tenfold." The more frequently you connect positive language with financial activity, the more natural it becomes. And once it feels natural, your subconscious begins to believe it. And once it believes it, your life begins to change. Generosity plays a key role in this cycle as well. Most people believe they need to receive more before they can give more. But spiritually, it works the opposite way. Giving activates the law of circulation. When you give from a place of fear, you're affirming lack. But when you give with joy and trust, you declare abundance. That declaration has a magnetic effect. It opens you to receive more. Even the smallest acts of giving, whether tipping, donating, or helping someone in need, create a ripple of return. But the energy behind the giving matters more than the amount. Give with a full heart. Give with a blessing. Say to yourself, "As I give freely, the universe returns it multiplied." This mindset transforms giving into a sacred act that attracts abundance. You're no longer afraid of spending or sharing because you understand that what flows out in faith always returns. Combining conscious speech, consistent repetition, and joyful generosity creates a powerful triad that shifts your relationship with money entirely. You begin to see money not as something scarce or stressful, but as something flowing, faithful, and abundant. You stop hoarding in fear and start circulating in faith. You stop doubting and start declaring. You stop struggling and start aligning. And with each repeated act of blessing, affirmation, and generous giving, your inner atmosphere changes. That shift may feel subtle at first, but it builds momentum. Over time, you'll begin to notice more money coming in, through opportunities, ideas, gifts, or even unexpected sources. You'll find yourself more confident in handling money. You'll feel less guilt around having it, and more joy in sharing it. All because you started using your words as instruments of transformation. The words you speak every time you touch money are not just words, they are commands, vibrations, and seeds. They shape how you feel about money, how you treat it, and ultimately how much of it flows into your life. Speaking blessings over your money transforms it from a stressful transaction into a spiritual practice. When you combine that with consistent affirmations and joyful generosity, you become a channel for divine wealth. Money is no longer a problem, it becomes a tool for freedom, service, and expansion. The universe responds to clarity, trust, and intention. So the next time you touch money, no matter how little or how much, speak life into it. Say, "I bless this money. It is flowing to me and through me in increasing amounts. I release it with love, and it returns multiplied." Keep doing that. Every day, with every coin, every payment, every opportunity. And soon, you won't just be touching money. You'll be multiplying it. Every time you interact with money, whether you're receiving it, spending it, holding it, or even just thinking about it, you are engaging with a powerful form of energy. That energy responds not only to your actions, but more importantly to your intentions, emotions, and especially your words. What you say when money is in your hands has the power to shape your relationship with abundance. Most people go through life speaking lack, struggle, and fear into their finances without even realizing it. They say things like, "Money doesn't stay with me," or "I can never get ahead." And those words become self-fulfilling prophecies. But what if you reverse that? What if you made it a habit to say, "Money comes to me easily and frequently," or "This money is blessed and multiplies wherever it goes"? Every single time you touch money, over time, These simple declarations can change your entire financial reality. Your words are not just casual expressions. They are energetic instructions. Every phrase you speak out loud, especially with feeling, plants a seed in your subconscious mind. That subconscious mind does not filter or judge. It simply accepts repeated input as truth and begins adjusting your perception, choices, and results to match. So when you consistently speak abundance, your subconscious starts aligning your internal beliefs with that reality. The effect may not be instant, but it is inevitable. Each time you speak wealth, you weaken the hold of scarcity thinking. Each time you affirm overflow, you break the pattern of financial fear. Over time, your mind becomes conditioned to expect good, to expect support, to expect increase. And that internal shift is what begins to draw new opportunities and unexpected money into your life. But speaking abundance isn't just about repetition, it's also about emotional energy. When you touch money and say something positive with gratitude and joy, the emotion supercharges your intention. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When you say, "Thank you for this money," and "Thank you for the more that is coming," you are activating one of the highest vibrational states possible. That gratitude opens spiritual doors. It turns your focus from what you lack to what you already have, and what you focus on expands. When you focus on blessings, you receive more to be grateful for. That is why gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active tool of creation. It tells the universe you are ready, receptive, and aligned with more. Even when the amount you're holding seems small, expressing gratitude makes it grow in energy, value, and attraction. Another deeply transformative practice is to bless the money itself. To bless something is to speak divine favor and increase over it. When you say, "I bless this money," and send it out with love, you are not only changing your attitude, but altering the energy of the money you touch. You are declaring that it serves good purposes and will return to you expanded. This is especially powerful when you're spending money. Instead of seeing expenses as a loss, you can choose to see them as investments in circulation. You can say, "As this money leaves my hands, it creates blessings and returns multiplied." That one shift in perspective eliminates fear and scarcity and replaces it with peace and expectancy. Blessing your money makes every financial transaction sacred. It transforms a routine moment into a ritual of faith and prosperity. Consistency is the final key that activates this process. Saying something once or twice will not override a lifetime of negative financial programming. But saying something daily, especially every time you engage with money, starts to rewire your mind. The more often you affirm abundance, bless your money, and express gratitude, the faster your inner world transforms. Repetition is what trains the mind to see new possibilities, to release fear, and to make decisions from a place of confidence instead of panic. Eventually, these affirmations stop feeling forced, they become natural. You start to believe them. You begin to expect good news. You start noticing money showing up from places you never considered. You stop reacting to bills with stress and start responding with faith. You understand that money is always moving, and that as long as you bless and circulate it with trust, it will return to you in perfect time and perfect form. Your relationship with money is built every single time you touch it, and what you say in those moments is the foundation. By consciously choosing to speak abundance, you change your inner narrative from lack to wealth. By combining your words with deep gratitude, you raise your vibration and attract more of what you appreciate. By blessing your money before it leaves your hands, you initiate the divine law of circulation. And by practicing these principles consistently, you shift from a life of financial struggle to one of spiritual prosperity. Remember, it's not about having large amounts of money before you begin. It's about honoring and aligning with the energy of money now. The money you have, however little or much, is listening. So the next time it touches your hand, whisper to it with faith, You are blessed, you are loved, and you will return multiplied. Keep speaking, keep believing, and watch the miracle of multiplication unfold. Every time you touch money, you're engaging with more than just paper or coins. You're engaging with an invisible energy that listens to your thoughts, your emotions, and especially your words. Most people don't realize this. They handle money carelessly, with stress, fear, or indifference, not knowing they're shaping their entire financial future in those subtle moments. Money is energy in motion, and your words are like commands that tell it how to behave in your life. What you repeatedly speak, think, and feel about money will show up in your reality. That's why it is absolutely crucial to become intentional with your words every time you come into contact with money. When you say something as simple as "money comes to me easily and abundantly," you're not just being positive. You're sending a direct message to your subconscious mind and to the universe, declaring how money is allowed to flow in your life. Words carry vibration, and vibration shapes matter. If you consistently speak words of lack, such as, "I never have enough," or "money just slips through my fingers," you're giving life to those experiences. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a joke, an exaggeration, or reality. It only responds to what you say repeatedly. But if you begin speaking abundance and prosperity into every financial moment, no matter how small, you begin to rewire your inner beliefs. Over time, the language of abundance becomes your default mindset. You start making better decisions, noticing more opportunities, and attracting people, ideas, and resources that align with prosperity. It all begins with what you say the moment money comes into your hands. There's also a powerful shift that happens when you start to bless the money you have. This practice turns a simple transaction into a spiritual act. Whether you're paying a bill, tipping someone, buying groceries, or donating to a cause, saying something like, "I bless this money and release it with love. It returns to me multiplied," activates a law of circulation. Instead of fearing that money is leaving you, you trust that it's simply flowing through you, and that it will come back, often in unexpected ways. Blessing money as you spend it reprograms your subconscious mind to associate giving with increase instead of loss. It breaks the emotional link between spending and scarcity and replaces it with peace, trust, and expectancy. Equally important is how you treat the act of receiving money, whether it's a salary, a gift, a refund, or even a small amount found on the ground. What you say in that moment reinforces either a mindset of gratitude or a mindset of entitlement. Gratitude opens doors. When you say, "Thank you, universe, for this money. I welcome more," you align with the vibration of receiving. That vibration attracts more to be grateful for. You become a magnet for abundance because you've trained yourself to recognize and honor the flow of money in all its forms, big or small. And when the universe sees that you celebrate what you have, it naturally sends more your way. Consistency is what turns all these spiritual principles into reality. You cannot expect to shift a lifetime of financial worry and scarcity with a few random affirmations. It takes repetition, emotion, and belief. The most powerful time to repeat affirmations is when you are physically engaged with money, whether holding it, spending it, or even just checking your bank balance. These are moments when your conscious mind is focused on finances, which makes your subconscious mind more open to suggestion. Say things like, "I always have more than enough," or "Money supports me in beautiful and unexpected ways." These phrases begin to overwrite old programming and lay the foundation for a new money identity, one based on trust, faith, and abundance. A key part of that transformation is releasing guilt and shame around money. Many people, consciously or unconsciously, carry guilt about having money or wanting more of it. They feel unworthy or associate wealth with greed or selfishness. But money is neutral. It takes on the energy of the one who uses it. If you are a good-hearted, generous person, then money in your hands only increases your ability to give, help, serve, and create. There is no spiritual virtue in poverty, just as there is no shame in abundance. The more money you attract, the more freedom and impact you can have. Speaking kindly to money, saying, "You are welcome here," or "I use you with love and purpose," begins healing your relationship with it. When you stop pushing money away with guilt, you allow it to flow more freely. These practices may seem small or insignificant at first, but they are incredibly powerful because they align your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions with the energy of abundance. You stop seeing money as a source of stress and start viewing it as a supportive, faithful, and multiplying force. And that shift in perception is exactly what opens the doors to more income, more opportunities, and more peace. Every time you touch money, you have a choice. You can repeat the old story of struggle and lack, or you can begin writing a new one. One where money comes freely, stays longer, grows faster, and flows with ease. Your financial life is a reflection of your inner beliefs, and your beliefs are shaped by your words. Every moment you touch money is a chance to plant a new seed. By speaking abundance, blessing what you give, expressing gratitude for what you receive, being consistent with your affirmations, and releasing guilt, you create a completely new energetic relationship with money. It becomes your partner, not your problem. It becomes your tool, not your burden. And as your words grow stronger, so does your wealth. So from this moment on, make a commitment every time you touch money. Say something that honors it, something that invites it, and something that multiplies it. The energy you put into those words will come back to you, not just in money, but in freedom, peace, and endless opportunity. Every time you come into contact with money, you're not just engaging in a physical transaction, you're also participating in a spiritual one. Most people handle money on autopilot, without realizing that what they say in that moment can shape how money flows into and out of their lives. Words are incredibly powerful. They don't just describe reality, they create it. If you constantly speak lack, worry, or doubt around money, you will reinforce those experiences. But when you choose to speak prosperity, gratitude, and faith every time you touch money, you activate a different set of laws. Spiritual laws that govern wealth, attraction, and abundance. Your voice becomes a command to the universe, and your subconscious mind begins working in your favor. Saying something as simple as, "Money flows to me freely and multiplies effortlessly," with sincerity and belief sends out a vibration that calls abundance into your life. When you use your words consciously, especially in financial moments, you reprogram your subconscious mind. The subconscious is always listening, always absorbing, and always acting on your repeated thoughts and declarations. This is why affirmations are so powerful. They don't just sound good, they shape your belief system. If you have been raised with negative ideas about money, such as "money is hard to get," or "rich people are greedy," those beliefs may be silently sabotaging your success. But when you touch money and say things like, "I am worthy of wealth," or "Money is a positive force in my life," you begin to dismantle the old programming. You create new neural pathways in the brain and begin replacing limitation with possibility. Over time, your mind aligns with this new truth, and your outer world follows. Speaking over your money also affects your emotional state, which directly impacts your financial outcomes. Emotions are fuel for manifestation. If you handle money with anxiety or fear, you transmit that energy into your financial field. But when you hold money and speak with joy, peace, and gratitude, you magnetize more of it. Gratitude, in particular, is a high-frequency emotion that unlocks divine increase. When you say, "Thank you, universe, for this money," you're acknowledging the blessing and signaling that you're ready for more. That grateful energy expands your awareness of opportunities, makes you more resourceful, and attracts more reasons to feel thankful. This is how emotional alignment with wealth starts with a simple sentence, spoken from the heart, each time you deal with money. Another key is to bless your money intentionally. Every dollar you receive, spend, give, or save can be infused with positive energy through your words. When you say, "I bless this money," it brings joy to others and returns to me multiplied. You're not just making a wish. You're speaking divine purpose over your finances. Blessing your money turns each transaction into a spiritual act, one that aligns with the law of circulation. Money is meant to move. When you send it out with a blessing, you ensure that it leaves your life with good energy. And that energy inevitably finds its way back. This approach transforms the experience of spending from one of fear to one of faith. You start to view money as a cycle, not a loss. You spend from abundance, not from anxiety. Equally powerful is the mindset of receiving. Many people unconsciously block financial flow because they feel unworthy of it. But what you say when you receive money reveals your inner story. Do you downplay it? Do you feel guilty? Or do you receive it with gratitude and confidence? Saying, "I receive this money with love, and I welcome even more," trains your mind to accept abundance as natural and deserved. Receiving well is a skill, and your words help you build that skill. As you affirm your readiness for more, you increase your energetic capacity to handle more. You stop pushing money away with doubt and instead invite it in with ease and openness. A vital but often overlooked practice is to eliminate casual negative talk about money. Every time you joke about being broke, or speak fear over your finances, you're strengthening the exact reality you don't want. These seemingly harmless phrases embed scarcity deep in your mindset. Start becoming radically aware of what you say about money, not just when you're affirming, but in daily conversation. Replace, "I can't afford that," with, "I'm choosing to invest my money differently right now." Replace, "Money never lasts," with, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." Words are spells, and you are always casting them, consciously or unconsciously. Choose the words that align with the wealth you want to experience. Consistency is what binds all of this together. You can't speak abundance once and expect instant riches. But you can speak it every day, every time money touches your hand, and trust that something is shifting, internally at first, and then externally. Repetition is what reprograms the mind, anchors your new beliefs, and builds your financial identity. Your job is not to force results, but to stay faithful to the process. Trust that every word you speak is creating something. As you touch money and speak life over it, again and again, you are building an energetic blueprint that money responds to. You're becoming someone who expects, attracts, and multiplies wealth, not through luck, but through alignment. The way you speak to and about money every time you touch it has the power to transform your financial reality. Your words shape your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations, and ultimately your results. By declaring wealth, expressing gratitude, blessing your money, receiving with openness, avoiding negative speech, and repeating positive affirmations consistently, you create a new relationship with money, one that supports growth, freedom, and peace. Don't underestimate the power of a single sentence. The next time you hold money, say something powerful, something loving, something that multiplies. Over time, those words become your truth, and your truth becomes your abundance.